baby. We gotta win this one.
Out the jump, let's go. Let's go, man, let's go. Here we go.
This is about to be a lit day today.
Hey, let's get back to our swagger, come on.
All of them get the dough down. They get the dough down.
Okay, meet at the quarterback.
Welcome inside the TCO studios for another edition of the Audible presented by 3M. My name is Gabe Henderson. I'm alongside Tatum, Everett, and it is week number 2, episode number 2. And we got 2 of our favorite Vikings players joining the show, Mr. Eric Kendricks and Mr. Jordan Hicks. Fellas, thank you for joining, first and foremost. Secondly, Eric, you've been a part of the show, I think, 3 or 4 times last year. First time with a guest. So you know how this thing works.
Yeah, I was telling him backstage he better not mess it up. So we already had our conversation. We're good to go. He's prepped. We're ready to rock.
We're ready.
Well, like we all know, we start this thing off with trivia, but today we want to do it a little bit different. We want to do 2 truths and a lie. So Eric, we're going to start with you. We got a cue card in front of both of you guys. There are 3 sentences on that card. Jordan, it is up to you to figure out which 2 sentences are true and which one is a lie.
All right, let's
Eric,
do it.
read it out.
What are the 2 truths and 1 lie about Allie and I's wedding this summer?
Okay.
We gave our guests the option to wear pajamas on our wedding day. I crowd surfed and spilled juice on my tuxedo during the reception. We hired an on-site tattoo artist for the reception.
The lie is the on-site tattoo. Did you do that? No way.
We did that.
You did that. Is the lie Allie crowd surfed?
She did crowd
Allie
surf.
crowd surfed.
I didn't crowd surf. I missed it, but I saw the pictures in the video.
She might be a little easier to lift up.
Yeah, I guess she was just feeling it, and she
What?
crowd surfed in her dress.
Were people getting tattoos at your wedding?
People were getting tattoos. Parents were getting tattoos on my wedding.
That's
Wow.
amazing. It's
What
the
was
one
the
on your
best?
hand, right?
Yeah, I got one right here on my finger, and then I got another one right here. Number 2, second sibling.
Nice.
What was the best tattoo?
The best tattoo?
Do you know any tattoo stories?
There's some good ones. I don't even know. Like, some people just left with tattoos that I have no idea.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm hoping these people were sober when they got these tattoos, right?
I mean,
Exactly.
honestly, it's a gift that
memory.
keeps giving, you know?
Yeah.
People will always remember our wedding because they have it tatted on them.
Exactly. Wow. I have a lot to think about with my upcoming one. Man, that's a lot to live up to.
My turn?
Yeah, Jordan, go for it.
Let's see. All right. 2 truths and a lie about my playing days. Number 1, I got locked inside US Bank Stadium with your brother Mike after winning the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, I won the 2nd ever Dick Butkus my senior year of high school. And number 3, I started my master's degree in advertisement while in college.
I believe you getting locked in US Bank because I feel like it could be easily confused, I guess, how to get out of a stadium.
Yeah.
As in that's the lie? or
Especially, I
that's
feel
the
like
truth?
I feel like I've never gotten out of a stadium by myself. I've always been let in.
You got a
and
straight
like
path.
taken out. Yeah.
Right.
So like, I don't know how I would get out of a stadium, but anyway, I would think the Butkus thing is a lie.
Butkus is the truth.
You won the 2nd Butkus in high school.
Yes. Won the 2nd Butkus in high school. The lie is the first one with your brother.
Really?
Yeah. We did not get locked in. We had a big time celebration. A lot of champagne, a lot of cigars, but
In our stadium.
in your stadium, in the locker room as well, in the same locker room, home locker room.
Wow.
But yeah, we were escorted out with everybody.
Good memories from there, huh?
Yeah, it was a good time.
That's pretty cool.
This past game was the first time I was back playing a game in that locker room. It was
Were you
Kinda-
at the, go ahead, Tatum.
Did it come flooding back to you at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been like a process of like when I signed here and then, we had a practice in the stadium and that was like the actual first time I've been back and then playing on the field. Like it was kind of, coming out that same tunnel. It was interesting. Yeah, it was very interesting. It was fun.
Were you at that Super Bowl game since it was
I
in town?
didn't.
Okay.
I didn't go to the Super Bowl. I didn't really want to be there with we had just lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch my brother, but I didn't want to be there around anybody else.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it on TV, want to rewind it, and be able to watch let me see this play again.
Yeah.
Let me see it again. Let me see it
Yeah.
a 4th time. And I just sat there by myself, and I enjoyed watching it by myself. One of the only Super Bowls I've ever watched through and through.
Through and through.
your
And
brother.
mainly because
Seriously?
your family connection.
You're not watching the Super Bowls.
Oh,
It's been some good ones.
Not even for the commercials?
sometimes. I usually just hang out with everybody.
Yeah,
Just trying to
good food.
remember.
I just play.
Good food. Well, you guys are from the same draft class.
Yeah.
Eric Kendricks. Eric, you were 35 picks or 39 picks before Jordan.
Yeah.
But obviously being in the same position, did you guys know of each other or anything about each other, interact with each other before this?
Yeah, I know for sure. I knew about him obviously because I played with his brother.
Yeah.
And we came out the same year, so it was, you always kind of keep up with your draft class, especially your position. And he's always been, somebody that I've always watched and really respected. And it's been dope being able to be here and get to know him and get to play with him. So
Thanks, bro.
absolutely.
I also, I remember Jordan. Obviously, UCLA we beat Texas that year. Anyway. But we went to the combine, and I remember us just chatting at the combine, us like inside backers and stuff like that. We got drafted. I've always watched him on film. He's a guy that gets to the ball. Has always had an ability to like get to the rock and make plays. And yeah, now we get to play together, so it's pretty dope.
All right, Jordan, what similarities do Eric and his brother Michael have on and off the field?
Okay, yeah. First and foremost, they have a ton of energy, right? And it's part of like
Poor
they've got the
mom.
same mannerisms and they talk the same, but their energy level is like through the roof. And they are. It's funny because when I first got here, it was like they're very different in their own ways, in their own respects, but they're also very similar. So when I got here, it was like, I see Mike in you 100%, but you guys are really different. But yeah, their energy level is through the roof. They have a lot of fun.
Shout out to my brother Mike.
There you go. Well, speaking of, there were several scouting reports that said Jordan played similarly to your brother when you guys were going through the draft process. How do you see that reflected in how Jordan plays?
Yeah, I feel like we all just kind of like, I think we're traditional linebackers are kind of like 260, 250. So, we're all kind of like we're undersized compared to the norm, I guess you could say. More backers are not like that nowadays than not. But just our running to the ball and our not giving ourselves up in plays that we don't have to really give up on. I think that's what we kind of all relate to.
Jordan, I know I'm getting a little off script here. I know, a lot of fans know of Eric being here for so long, but for fans who don't know who you are as the person, like, how would you describe yourself and like your story? I know what you're from Colorado, moved to Indiana. You've moved a lot of different places before this football thing worked out for you.
Yeah, a lot of my story revolves around moving as a young kid. Basketball was my first love. Really didn't take football serious until junior year of high school, and when I really realized I had a future in it. Went to the University of Texas, and at 17 went, miles and miles across the country, left Ohio, and dealt with some injuries there. Got drafted third round, had a good senior year, got drafted third round, had some injuries early in my career in Philly, and obviously we came here, won a Super Bowl, went to Arizona, and now I'm here. So, in a nutshell.
Has change of pace helped you get to this point in your career? I mean, from different states to different universities to life. Like, how has that shaped who you are today?
Yeah, you got to learn to adapt, right? I feel like I've got a fairly good ability to adapt and to blend in and gel with my circumstances and make the most of it. And a lot of that comes from moving, meeting new people. Football-wise, I've been in a lot of different schemes. Through college, I had 4 different defensive coordinators, and then got to the league and I think I've had 3 or 4 in the league. So I've seen a lot of different football, had to learn a lot of different things. So, ultimately you come in and now you learn differently. You learn in concepts, right? Rather than, oh, this is my job. This is, I think that's what makes great players.
And that learning process was something that, Eric, you had to kind of not relearn, but it is something new for you this year.
No,
and obviously having Jordan in a 3-4 earlier in Philly before, and you now maneuvering into that, I guess, that territory, I guess you could say. How has it been being able to have him as a sounding board within your room?
No, I think you nailed it. I think that, Jordan's been through a lot of defenses like he just explained, and he has the ability to adapt and kind of take what he knows from this team and apply it to us right now. Whereas when, the new defense got introduced to me, I had been playing in the system for 8 years. I had been had it drilled into this one system, and things weren't clicking as easy for me, but he can kind of understand where I was at because he had played in a similar defense in that regard. And then he was able to, mesh the two, and we were able to communicate on those kind of terms because he sees things very similar to how I see things, and it's been real smooth, I would say.
Don't let him shortchange it though. He is one of the smartest backers I've been around. So his instincts and ability to pick it up is like top notch.
Top notch is what we're going to end segment 1 on, because segment 2, I want to get into the nitty gritty of who you guys are and why you guys are here. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more on the Audible presented by 3M.
Cut.
We are back. This is the Audible presented by 3M. Gabe Henderson here alongside Tatum Everett from Vikings.com. We got Eric Kendricks, Jordan Hicks, our 2 guests on the show. And Tatum brought up a good point earlier. You guys were both drafted in the same draft in 2015. And I was doing some research on that, and I was like, all right, let's see how the numbers stack up against all the other linebackers selected in the draft.
Oh, we got people.
Yeah. You guys both lead your draft class in tackles, in sacks, and interceptions.
Nice.
It's
We're
1 and 2 in our whole draft class?
Yeah, well, I think so. You're number 1 in sacks.
Yeah.
You're number 3, Eric. But everything else, you guys are 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
That's
Wow.
What do you accredit that success to thus far in your career?
Health, right?
Yeah.
That's obviously number 1. I think you can't make plays if you're not on the field, right?
Instincts.
Instincts, I think is for sure you.
Yeah.
You too, bro. You had a sack last week.
Rodgers under center, goes play action, floats out to his left. Oh, he's smacked back at the 35-yard line.
Last game,
I guess
he had
Aaron
a
Rodgers.
sack football.
Yeah,
Wasn't supposed to do it. He had a sack.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel the love between you two, which is really great, because I think at the end of the day, when you think about joining 2 people, I mean, you work together, you have to communicate, you have to be in this together, and knowing each other and your history and coming into this has to help. But what have you learned about each other maybe in the short time you have that you didn't know before? And I'll start with you, Jordan. It could be even something personal.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the opportunity to hang out off the field as well. So I've, my wife, I've got a family, my wife and 3 kids. Me and my wife, we all go to dinner with his wife, him and his wife, and we've been able to connect off the field and get to know each other in that direction. And really, that builds even more connection on the field, right? That type of stuff off the field builds connection on the field. So that's been dope.
Yeah, I would say this. I was gonna say the same thing. This guy's a super dad. He has kiddos at home,
Yeah,
but also
dad
he's been a husband. He's been a husband longer than I have. So definitely, we talk about the good, the ups and downs.
That's great.
the drama sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's great.
It happens.
All of
I feel like it's like a whole venting session. It's like, hey, you
great.
got a quick minute?
All of it. You need those people in your life.
Got to.
That's
And it's been, 6 months, right? I think when this show airs, it'll be 6 months since you signed this offseason for being a Minnesota Viking. And during that short span, like Tatum just said, you guys have built that bond. But one thing that I believe it was you, Jordan, you said this offseason is like, you guys' nonverbal communication is next level. So for fans who don't know what nonverbal communication is for a linebacker, what does that look like?
It looks like
We both know something at the same time. And it's just kind of like,
you got it.
Yeah.
We're good, and it just happens. We had a play at practice. We were in man. Usually in man, you don't work together, and it just so happened that you take my guy, I take your guy, and it just worked out. It's like there's times when you playing with people that don't see it that way at all.
When you know, you know.
When
you gotta. It's a big picture always. It's a feel thing for sure, but then sometimes it's like a panic situation where you're lined up and you're like, and you just make that look, and then you know he's panicking just like you're panicking, and then it's like, okay, cool, like we're both panicking, we might be able to figure this out.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of calm in the panic. Okay.
You always gotta stay calm.
Right.
Okay.
It's never really panic. It's just kind
Full
of
panic
like
mode.
A lot of that nonverbal communication comes in those moments, though. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? In the 2
that's
minute,
true.
in the fast pace, and it's like you just got to react, and we work off each other.
How much have you talked to Eric about this Monday night football game, a return to Philly, someplace that obviously is pretty special to you, Jordan?
We've talked about it. Yeah, obviously. You know, he's been on this side of it, you know, obviously more than I have. So he honestly knows more about it and what to expect. This will be my first time back playing there since I've left. So yeah, it's going to be a dope experience for me.
Yeah, what do you think it'll be like?
I don't know. It'll be definitely a weird feeling being back in the city. The city is one of a kind, and when you've been a part of it, you kind of have some type of pull towards you feel like you understand it because it's one of a kind. But yeah, in terms of being there in the stadium, I'm not sure. It's probably.
I know what it's going to be like.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's very special.
It's going to be angry.
Yeah.
It's going to be hostile.
Yeah.
It's going to be blue collar. It's going to be. I think it's. I love playing there. It's great. Like, obviously, it's not a home game by any means. I love playing at home, but there's something about football when you're on the road, you know, you're in a hostile environment, you know, chips are stacked against you, and you get to go out there with your brothers who you've been, you know, training with, working hard with, and you guys get a real opportunity to prove yourself. Like, it's beyond, like, you know, football. It's beyond, like, making plays, getting first downs, touchdowns. It's like, you know, it's fan base versus fan base. It's, you know, it's mano y mano. It's pretty dope.
Is there a sense of, like, what is I don't want to say feeling, but what is that thing, right, that when you go back home to either your hometown or your former team, that it kind of gets you up a little bit? I remember last year we played the Chargers, and you were like, we had you on the Audible, and you just had this energy about you.
I can never play bad in California. I just refuse to play bad in California. It's like I have to bring it, you know. So it's like that's just how I feel, you know. It's just what any type of motivation I can go into the game, and any type of chip I can have on my shoulder, or like, you know, I think like the last game I drove my grandpa's Viper to the game, and I really used that. Like, I really was thinking about, man, this is my grandpa's Viper. Like, I get to be able to drive this to the game. It was my dream to go, you know, play football and, you know, own this car. And now I'm doing it, like bringing my family to the game a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like any type of like motivation you can bring. I feel like do it.
You've been playing now for a while, Jordan. Is there something similar that you have done to help that motivation? Something that, because I mean, when you start to play for, I'm sure you got to start getting creative.
Yeah, no, you're always trying to find the way to create that chip. I mean, this is going to be. I won't have to really do much for this game. This is going to be pretty.
That's fair.
And it was actually that way when I was in Philly, always playing in Dallas. Right, it was always that same way. I always had my best games against Dallas, just because I knew, you know, coming from UT, everybody's watching. Everybody is Texas fans. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I honestly try to block out quite a bit of that and just clear my mind. As much as I can, because, you know, I get up. It doesn't matter how long I play. I get up for these games, and sometimes I just gotta tell myself to just take a breath, chill out. Let's go do your job.
Because I know both of you guys love football, but Jordan, like, you're so even keel.
Yeah.
That, like, my thing when I was going to the Green Bay Packers game, I was like, man, like, Jordan's so even keel. Like, he hasn't said anything, hasn't done anything. And then when you sacked Aaron Rodgers, you like gave this fist pump. And I was like, oh, this dude is into it.
Yeah.
So, like, how would you describe your love for the game of football?
I mean, football's been my life. You know what I mean? I mean, since I always ask people, actually, this is a question I ask people, how long you been playing football, right? Because when you get to this point in the NFL, usually most guys have at least been playing for 10 plus years, right? And to think you've been playing this game for a decade, for me, it's been 20 years, right? I've been playing football in my life for over 20 years now. And it's like, I haven't done anything for 20 years, right?
Right.
And this is it. And so football's been my life. And, you know, I owe a lot to the game. I owe a lot to my coaches and my teammates. And I love this game. Like I said, I get nervous. I get those butterflies before every single game. And as long as I've got that, I know there's that energy, there's that passion, you know, that you can feed off of.
I see you agreeing right there. You still get nervous, Eric?
Yep, absolutely. It's good though.
Yeah.
It makes you feel alive, you know.
Yeah.
That's what, like, anytime where I'm really out there and I'm like, you know, things may be hard, you know, it's like nothing will replace that feeling when you're on the field, for me at least, you know, and it's pretty special for sure.
All right, well, let's leave the fans with a quick Philadelphia Eagles preview, right? Jalen Hurts is the guy over there that everybody talks about. For a defense or linebackers, when you're scheming Jalen Hurts, do you scheme him the way you scheme Lamar, or is it more like a Tua or a Kyler Murray? And why?
I would say because he is such a threat with his legs, and the scheme is built for him to be able to pull the ball and run in the run game, you definitely have to account for him, right? You can't go out there without accounting somebody to be on the quarterback run. So yeah, I mean, you have to treat him like a Lamar. I know being with Kyler, he wants to sit in the pocket until he can't, right? And he wants to throw for 500 yards if he can. So, yeah, you might have a better answer.
No,
for that.
I would completely agree. I would say it's more like a Lamar. You know, they have run plays designed, pullers designed to block for him, play actions designed to get a mismatch for him to run the ball essentially. Where Kyler's they don't have run plays built for him. He may have a draw every once in a while where he drops back and then shoots through the gaps, but Kyler's more running on the pass. Then he makes his yards scrambling, where it's like, he's going to have plays on Monday that are going to be designed for him to run the ball.
Primetime games, how much do they mean to you at this point in your career? Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting. No, I think it's an interesting question.
It's Monday Night Football.
Sure.
Right. We've been watching Monday Night Football since we were kids. Obviously a huge deal, but you don't have to put any more pressure on it. We don't, as players, we don't have to put any more pressure on it because it's a high pressure environment already. We're already playing the NFL. Every game matters significantly, and the proof is going to be when we walk out on the field Monday night. It's not going to be the pressure. It's not going to be us doing anything extra.
You don't have to get too creative with that chip this time around, right?
It comes naturally.
Yeah, well, if you've seen any of the other episodes of the Audible with Eric Kendricks, he always has the same answer. You always have the same answer when we ask, okay, what's the key to the game? And you sit up and you say, look.
I'll tell you right now if you want to know.
Okay, do it, yeah.
Let's go.
The key for us Vikings to win this game, this football game right here, Monday night, there's a few things actually. Okay. I'm going to go through them. First of all, on defense, we must hold them to a lower amount of points than our offense creates. Our offense must score more points than our defense allows.
That's beautiful.
If those two things happen, then we win the game. That's just what has to happen.
All right.
Always on brand. Yeah. Always on brand. I love it.
What a way to end it.
Right.
What a way.
Jordan, Eric, Tatum, always a pleasure. We appreciate you guys for tuning into another edition of the Audible presented by 3M. We'll be back next week with two other of your favorite Vikings players.